Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a review of the latest release from Dior. It's in their J'adore range and it's their new L'Or J'adore. I have it here. So I'm going to be letting you know what this smells like and compare it to all the others that are in the current J'adore range. If you're new here, then hello, welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos just like this, going through whole ranges, new releases. I'll leave links to my other Dior videos down below. I also have detailed articles on my blog going through the whole J'adore range, including the discontinued versions, along with hundreds of other articles. And as always, I'll put the links in the description box to where you can get this perfume all around the world. I got this from Sephora UK. It retails for £144, very expensive. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. Cool. So we've had a lot of different versions of J'adore, which has been out for a long time. I think at least 20 years. It has a fond place in my heart. It's a perfume my mum wore when I was young. I really think it's a classy, feminine fragrance. It's all around the lily. Lily is like the heart of each of the different versions. And I think now that they've reformulated Miss Dior, I do think this is better for lasting than Miss Dior Eau de Parfum, the original J'adore Eau de Parfum. All the bottles look relatively similar. This was pretty expensive. It's a 50ml and it was £144. Very expensive for 50ml. I got it from Sephora UK, where if you're like a member of the Sephora like loyalty program, you can get 10% off a brand, and I have 10% off Dior. So I managed to get a little bit of money off it, but it is very expensive. I'll leave the links below to where all the different places you can get it. But before we get into that, if we start with the original J'adore, I actually have samples of the range so I can directly compare them all. So original J'adore, I immediately recognize it. It's a fresh lily. It has a melon top note, which is quite unusual. And you know, these sort of fruity notes aren't something we tend to see really from Dior. And it really lifts it. It's like a sort of dewy honeydew melon, like you've just cut it open. It's got a very fresh opening. And then the lily underneath is quite fresh. Sometimes lilies can be a bit powdery or more of a deep floral, but in original J'adore, I find it quite uplifting. So there's a whole bunch of other white florals in here, like jasmine, lily of the valley, tuberose, freesia, magnolia. Basically every white floral is in here. It's very sophisticated. For me, it's definitely a daytime scent, the original Eau de Parfum, because it's like clean, classy, floral, nice for the day, be nice for the office. It feels pretty feminine and I do like it. They come in these little roller balls as well. I think they're called roller pearls, which are really quite cute. And I personally find, because they're an oil rather than an Eau de Parfum, I actually find they perform better than the Dior Eau de Parfum. So I do really recommend the roller pearls. There is a Eau de Toilette version of J'adore, which has a slightly pinkish coloured liquid. This is kind of similar. It has that same white floral heart, lots of jasmine in the heart, but the top note is a citrus rather than the melon and pear that's in the original. So it's a little bit sharper, a little bit fresher, more summertime. It's actually really pretty. It's just not that good for lasting, so I'd recommend that more for very hot climates if you like J'adore, but you want something a little bit fresher and cleaner and lighter. So the one that was released last year was J'adore Parfum d'Eau, which is like an alcohol-free perfume, so it's like water perfume. This one came in the white bottle, which kind of looked like a sort of alien egg. So for me, this one really has the signature DNA of J'adore. It's just, I'd say, more green. You sort of get the leaves of the floral bouquet. It's definitely the same DNA. It's lighter for sure. The reason why we use alcohol in perfumes is because alcohol evaporates and then you get the smell. That's what gives it projection. It's the alcohol's evaporating. So without that, it's just not as strong. It is pretty. I'd say it's more along the lines of the Eau de Toilette in terms of strength. Yeah, it really does fade quite a bit for me there. So again, perhaps one for humid weather. So we then have J'adore Eau de Parfum Infinissimi. This one, like much darker marketing campaign. This is definitely a more intense fragrance. At first, when you spray it, it comes across as quite dark. You get sandalwood, ylang ylang, and there's a pink pepper. But as it develops, it becomes less dark. It starts to reveal a grapefruit note. But the key difference here is that the main sort of white floral is a tuberose rather than the lily jasmine combination of the original. So it's deeper, it's heavier, it's evening. It definitely performs and lasts better than the original, but it doesn't really have the DNA of the original. So the new L'Or version, but there has been a J'adore L'Or before, years ago, that was discontinued just to add extra confusion. And L'Or is gold in French, so J'adore L'Or means I love gold. And of course, the marketing campaign, which has had Charlize Theron, I think since it came out, one of the longest standing like perfume faces. And they've kept her the woman that never ages. I do love Charlize Theron. And of course, the iconic sort of gold necklace coming out of the gold pool. Obviously, gold is very much the theme of J'adore. So I get some of the DNA of the original for sure, but it's different.
So I'm sorry, there's some issue with my microphone in this part. Basically what I'm saying is that it doesn't have the fresh top notes of the original. The melon isn't there. It just goes straight into the white florals. Here they've used a violet note as well, which adds a slightly deeper, feminine, slightly powdery undertone.
And what I really get is a lot of jasmine. I think if you like the original, you will like this. It's definitely got a lot in common with the original. It's described as a perfume essence, which I think there is them saying that it's more concentrated than an eau de parfum. Personally, I don't really sense that. This feels like an eau de parfum to me. I think it's like a little bit more mature, a little bit more serious than the original. It's somewhere in between the eau de parfum and the Infinissimi one. So it's a bit heavier, but it's not massively different. And it doesn't have that top melon note, which I actually love about the original. I think that makes the original, makes it very unique.
Personally, I'm not sure that this new L'Or is worth the money compared to the original because it's so much more expensive than the original, but it smells quite similar and I do love those melon top notes. The original in a 50ml is £97, whereas the L'Or is £144. I don't think you're getting £47 worth of additional value. So my recommendation is to stick with the original if you're looking for this type of scent. Or if you want something heavier, then go for the Infinissimi one.
I'm not overly impressed with it enough to spend that extra money on it. And like I said, I do really like the melon top note of the original J'adore. You can also get the original in the perfume oil in the roller pearl as well, which I do really like and recommend. I've noticed that for Christmas, they brought out gift sets and like body scrubs and really pretty sets and stuff. The Dior sets at Christmas are always so beautiful. They're always the most beautiful sets in my view. They are very expensive, but they are gorgeous. So is this new one Soki approved? I don't really think so. I think it's overpriced for what it is. And I think there was so much hype and excitement around Francis Kurkdjian coming in to Dior. For me, just creating one that's like a bit heavier than the original J'adore is like quite a boring new like way to introduce yourself to the world for Dior. So I'm not super excited about it and I'm annoyed that it cost me so much money. So that's my view really. I do have a top tip that if you do love the original J'adore, that Britney Spears' Blissful Fantasy, which is like 20 something pounds, smells very similar to original J'adore. So it's a bit of a dupe in my view. When I first smelled it, I immediately got J'adore vibes. So that is a top tip if you love the smell, but you don't want to spend all that money on a Dior perfume. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you tried it yet? Which is your favorite of the different J'adore fragrances? I know a lot of the discontinued ones were really nice. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And like I said, I'll leave the links down below to everything I've mentioned in this video. But that's it guys. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.